Welcome back. This is part 2 of my Smith and Wesson 3-inch barreled Scandium framed 1911. So far, the only changes I've really done to this is some slim Aluma grips. These Aluma grips aren't very expensive for what you get. I paid the extra $8 to have them hollowed out from the back to make them even lighter. I did have to change the bushings on this to the slim bushings, but that wasn't a huge ordeal. Even with the grips, the extra $8 for hollowing these out, and the bushings and the screws that I got from Aluma Grips, it was still 80 some dollars, I think, total. So it wasn't a bad deal. These grips are very, very nice quality. I'm super happy with them. So if you want some decent and nice looking grips, Aluma Grips a nice place to go to. I've spent more on Stag grips and they're not as nice as these. So the grips on this really changed the feel of the pistol. It's nice and thin. I have fairly large hands, and normally I like a long trigger and an arched mainspring housing, but I haven't shot it in this configuration yet, so I'm gonna try it out and see how I like it. I may end up with an arched mainspring housing, but I only found one manufacturer that makes an arched in aluminum, because I want to keep this as light as possible. If anybody made one in aluminum or maybe even polymer in an arched, I might go with that route. But the only one so far I've found for officer frame is the Hogue. And again, that's a $50 proposition just for that. So I may do that, we'll see. Another change I may make is the thumb safety. I like the GI type with just the little nub on it. If I find a decent one, I may switch that out. But these Colt style are fine with me too. But again, I kind of like the GI style. So the profile of the grips on this, before I would have said the Hellcat Pro that I have in 9mm, they're pretty even as far as carryability and feel. Now I think these grips maybe put this 1911 just ahead of the Hellcat Pro as my favorite of the two. They're both great. Again, we're a 7+1 45 ACP versus a 15+1 9mm. And then on the 9mm, I also have a 507, I believe, Hollow Sun. So that's my first dot, and again, it's a green dot. So I'm getting used to that. I'm used to this. Again, this has the Smith and Wesson, the white rear and red front, just like a Smith and Wesson should. But again, very happy with this pistol. I also got my trip magazines in. I wanted flush fit magazines for the actual carry magazine. These are super high quality. I do believe these are the first trip magazines I've ever had, and these won't be the last. These are very well made. The ones that came with it are quite nice. One's Metgar marked, the other is Smith and Wesson marked, and they are exactly identical other than the markings. But they have these little base pads on them, and I didn't really want a base pad sticking out for a carry magazine. Ammunition. This thing shot really well with the 230 grain hardball and the 185 nozzlers that I have. I'm doing some more ammunition experimentation just because this is a 3-inch barrel. These are 135 grain Underwood bullets. They're plus P. I'm gonna give these a try, and the 185 nozzlers, since those work, those are gonna probably be in the rotation. But again, it shot well with the hardball. It shot well with the 185 nozzlers. We'll see how it shoots with the 135 plus P full copper Phillips head looking things. So we'll see. I imagine good thing. I've heard good things about them and seen some videos on it. I would normally probably carry for spare magazine, maybe the other trip, maybe one of these with the base pad, maybe a McCormick, maybe a 10-round Wilson, whatever I feel like at the time and feel that would make me sleep good at night. These are G-code mag carriers. This is an inside the waistband. This is a paddle style. But again, these are G-code, which is a company that I do quite like for their holsters and for their mag carriers. I have mag carriers for double stacks from them too. And my favorite holster for my Hellcat is from them as well. One thing that kind of bugged me was I went to get what is probably G-Code's most concealable holster, which is called the Phenom. It's an inside the waistband holster geared towards appendix carry, and they do make other holsters for, I believe, I don't know if they make them for 3-inch, but they at least make them for 3.5-inch 1911s. But the holsters that they make in the 3.5-inch or 3-inch are not as concealable as this holster, and this holster was only available in the 5-inch or the 4-inch configuration. So that was a little irritating to me because I had to modify a brand new holster to fit this pistol. And yes, I could use a 3-inch barrel in this holster, but why have all this extra crap on there if I don't need it? So that was just a mild irritation. I would have been less irritated if they didn't have any other holsters available in the 3 or 3.5-inch configuration. But again, they have other holsters that are not as concealable as this in their rotation, but they couldn't make me a 3-inch version of this holster. So I don't know, that was a little that was a mild irritation, because this is one of the more concealable type of 1911s with 3-inch barrel or 3.5-inch barrel. The Colt New Agents is another 3-inch barrel. There's some Kimbers and some others that make 3-inch barrels. So I don't understand why the most concealable holster that this company makes is not available in those sizes. Moving on, I've compared this pistol to the Hellcat Pro in another video. Again, they were kind of neck and neck as far as feel and what I felt the concealability was. And again, my favorite holster for the Hellcat Pro is my G-Code of the same, it's the Phenom holster. That I was really impressed with for that. But also another one in my carry rotation is my Seecamp. This is a neck holster for it. This is the spare magazine guard that I just throw in my pocket. This is a rear pocket holster for the Seecamp. But comparing the two, the Seecamp is much, much smaller than either the Hellcat Pro or the Scandium 1911. So you can kind of see why this gets carried a little more than any others. But again, that's been my main carry for many, many years, and I like it quite a bit. So again, that's probably the last video I'm going to make on this. Like I said, maybe I'll change to an arched mainspring housing. Maybe I'll use a GI type thumb safety. But other than that, really no plans to make any other changes to this pistol. Very happy with the Illuma grips. The quality, and especially for the price. These officers' grips, I paid extra for the bushings and the screws, and I paid extra for these grips to be hollowed out from the backside, and still I think it was $80-some for all of that. So their grips are very high quality. They have a couple different styles. Very high quality, especially for the price. My Stag grips, if I'm lucky, cost me $100. So I'm under that with this, and for a really nice carry pistol. that's about it for today. Again, I probably won't make another video, even if I do make those 2 changes. If I do, I'll just put it in the comments, maybe, if anybody cares. But anyways, thanks for joining, and don't shoot yourself in the foot.